Only 37, but he senses that.
Thanks, Willie. You're close. On cross country this morning, today, correspondent Boyd Matson takes us out to Cherry Hill, New Jersey, for the story of a young man who has made the most of a situation that's beaten a lot of other folks. Good morning, Boyd.
Bryant, we're all familiar with the tradition of Wheaties, putting the pictures of famous athletes on cereal boxes: Walter Payton, Mary Lou Retton, Pete Rose. But here's a box that appeared on store shelves during the past year that may have left you saying, Doug Air, who's that? Well, his athletic accomplishments rank with the greatest of them, and they all begin this summer. He broke his neck.
I got to school, and I pull into the parking spot right out of the hospital, and there would be a handicap sticker that said reserved parking. And I always wanted to park in those spots legally, you know, but I didn't want to have to break my neck to do it. I popped this wheelie. They're like, do you need help down the ramp? No, I got it. I go down the ramp, and I fall out the bottom of the ramp out of my wheelchair, you know. If I'm ever president, I want to make the whole country out of linoleum because it's so much easier to roll on, you know. But,
push, you got it.
Doug Air, a 6'4" world champion athlete who can bench press 400 pounds. Doug Air, a quadriplegic who can't get across the room without a wheelchair.
I'm 230 pounds, 6'4", you know, brown butter karate, and people, you know, as I said, moved out of my way because I was big, and people respected me because of my size. And sitting in a wheelchair, having people opening doors for me is quite a change.
In 1977, Doug graduated from high school filled with the typical senior self-assurance that the world was his to conquer. After 1 year of college, his picture of the future changed.
I was on top of the world, president of my pledge class, my fraternity, and, you know, girls, muscles, the whole bit. And I went to work. I took the lifeguard stand, and I was up there. I saw someone in trouble, looked like across the pool. I stood up and dove. And next thing I know, my body went limp. But I entered the water, and I saw this white light, like a flash, and I heard a crack. And I felt like I was in this giant whirlpool. I was trying to surface to the top, and my body...
I noticed, like, there was all this red water around my brother, you know. I said, oh, you know, I said, oh, my God, what's going on?
I got grabbed by my brother, and he's pulling me to the surface. And Brian
there. He says, oh, Brian, it's real bad. It's real bad. I don't know what happened. I said, Doug...
I saw his hands on me, and I couldn't feel his hands touching my body.
Like, oh, Brian, just let me go. And I said... No way, you're not giving up like this. There's no way.
I remember people standing around me saying, okay, you'll be better, you'll be fine. And who would have known today I'd be still rolling around in a wheelchair.
At first, there wasn't even a wheelchair, just a hospital bed and a brace bolted to his head.
One thing I remember most about breaking my neck is the doctor coming in with a little toolbox, puts it down and said, Doug, we're going to have to put these screws in your skull to put a halo brace on. And he takes a screwdriver and starts putting a screw right into your skull, and you hear every turn. You know, talk about you wait for your paycheck. How about waiting for somebody to come in every morning and tighten your screws?
Adding to his family's depression was the knowledge it shouldn't have happened. The kid Doug dove in to save was only faking.
For a while, we were mourning a living person. Isn't this terrible to say?
You keep hoping for a miracle's going to happen.
I was very angry. I mean, how can everybody be happy?
And when the recoveries didn't come, then comes the acceptance. You have to live with the acceptance.
And I saw really no future, no hope. I said, why bother? You know, I'm not really important. I don't count. And why don't I just end my life?
At first, Doug didn't have the strength to do simple things, such as shaving or brushing his teeth. His choice was to remain helpless or to learn how to do things from a wheelchair. His family encouraged him to be independent. Progress was measured in tiny victories.
I remember when I was able to hold a cup in my hand, a cup of soda. My parents were so excited. They told my friends and they told the doctors about the good news. They said, Douglas is doing remarkably well. My friends came in. They all expected to see me walking, and all I was doing was holding a plastic cup.
We needed a vehicle to get him out of his depression, to make him feel important again, make him feel good about himself again.
That's good.
Brian challenged Doug to live by appealing to his competitive spirit.
All right, Doug, come on.
He put him through weight training and taught him to throw the javelin, shot put, and discus.
Ah, beautiful. Nice.
The backyard coaching became a family project.
I never wanted Doug to feel I expected any less of him after the accident than I did before the accident.
The work paid off with victories at dozens of wheelchair competitions, culminating with the World Championship last summer, where Doug took the title of Best Overall Wheelchair Athlete in the World.
When I first got involved in sports, I thought it'd be real gimpy, like people with blankets on their laps and their mothers pushing behind them, you know. But it's really not like that at all. It's very competitive.
Facing problems with a sense of humor is Doug's trademark. He uses it when he goes to rehabilitation centers trying to encourage others who think their life is over when they are confined to a wheelchair.
That thought of suicide is in my mind all the time, and
but, you know,
I find I don't have any will to go on anymore.
Right. You know, when you change your focus off of yourself and try to think about all the other people around you. And that's not easy to do, and I'm sure, you know.
Glenn was so affected by his one meeting with Doug that he stopped talking about dying, and now he lectures others about living. As important as Doug's speeches are to quadriplegics, his actions offer them the best hope. He's proven they can leave the rehab centers and have their own apartment and a job and a certain future. The inspiration Doug offers is that he's not just survived his tragedy, but excelled in the real world. After breaking his neck, Doug Ayer finished college and law school and is now a practicing attorney.
At first I felt, why me? But I learned now, why not me? And I don't feel cheated at all in life. I feel very gifted, and that I've been blessed to have an opportunity to really meet a challenge.
He turned it around, and he made a tragedy an incredible experience. Something we've all benefited from, not only himself.
You really just can't take life that seriously. You know, once you have the ability to kind of laugh at things and just say, oh, well, it's too bad I broke my neck, but what are you going to do? You can't change it right now.
Says, thank you, Mom and Dad, for a wonderful life.
Always.
Coming from a quadriplegic, a wonderful life.
He's always tells us that. Thank you for my wonderful life.
We followed Doug around for several days. The amazing thing, he was always that positive and making jokes. That attitude never changed.
Just curious, Boyd, you said he's a quadriplegic, and yet obviously he's using his arms there.
See him doing some things, but he has no feeling in his hands, and he can fake it because he has such upper arm strength. So when he would throw the discus, it was actually kind of glued to his hands, what that spray was.
Fascinating guy. Thanks, Boyd. 8:45 right now. We're back in just a moment with